and it's a delicate release too. If you don't, you just continue to click, and now your chances of clicking are very low. So again, take your time with little ping pong ones. These are 2 years, right? Castro Viejo needle holder. So when do you use it? Again, anything above 6.0 till about something that is 12.0. In reality, you get from size 5 all the way to 11.0. A 12.0 is special order. If anything, really special order. That's going to be like neonate pediatric type surgery. Okay? But here's the smallest one. We'll practice on this one a little bit. And then here's the biggest one that we got. Okay? So showing you guys, let's go ahead and open the 6.0. Always use 2 hands when dealing with these needles, guys. Never try to do this one-handed. You're going to lose a needle. When we open this up, make sure you use an instrument. So have one hand hold, and then the other hand will go ahead and direct yourself towards those needles. Always make sure when you're dealing with these to have one finger holding on to your package, because one wrong slip and this thing will float away. Okay, it'll float on. So most of these packs, if you don't notice, please notice that in the front it does tell you how many needles are there. In this case, it's showing 2 needles, or it'll say multi-pack MP2 or MP3, MP8, blah blah blah, how many needles are in here. In this case, it doesn't show you multi-pack. It literally shows you the representation of the needle that's there. Okay, so those are those needles. Next, when again opening this package and setting it up with an instrument, don't try to do this with your fingers. You can get accidentally poked. Okay, these things could have manufacturally been set up for failure, and the needle could be sticking up. Okay, so make sure you guys use instruments when handling these. Okay, these guys are in there also, just like your.
It's so small.
I can't even see it.
It is super tiny.
These guys are in there also, like your packages of your other needle holders, like your 2.0 SHs and your blah blah blah. It's the same thing. They're in there in kind of the half circle type motion. You're gonna grab it the same way, straight down, 90 degrees, and you're gonna rotate it out. Okay, same way you guys will a needle holder. So again, if you guys are not wearing bifocals, if you need those, if you can't see this, then you want to, again, reassure yourself that you're going to be able to do this.
Oh my God.
Since we're going to practice, make sure you have the right lenses, the right goggles, so that they also don't fall off during surgery, because you will literally have to go as close as possible to get this. This is a little different. Other sutures you can hold here, but you don't want this flapping around because you don't want these to fall out and fly away. Okay, so as I pull this one out, oh no, that's going to loop. Come on, microsurgery.
You can do it.
So what would happen in this instance?
If it's
does
loose.
is
Shouldn't.
Like if it's brand new, it shouldn't live
If you don't have time, what do you do?
Cut it.
Grab a knee pack.
I can't even like see it on the.
unraveled it.
Oh, there's like a little knot there. Man.
Plot thickens.
Can you get another forceps? Okay, we'll deal with that one later. I can undo that one, but
I feel like you need
all right.
James
So, and you're also going to have to fix it as best as you can. Okay, so be careful. Never move this around. Only move this guy if it's off the needle. So again, if this is locked, don't move this around. You're going to poke yourself. Okay, so as you hold here, let go of this guy and then adjust yourself and then let go. Okay, it's still 90 degrees. Smile to the right. It's the same thing, right? If I'm looking at this, I see the smile, suture is to the right. It's the same way. Now, you're not going to pass this the other way like you do, where the needle is facing your surgeon, because if your surgeon grabs this like this, he's not a 3-year-old, right? Ooh, me suturing. Okay, he's not eating cereal, right? So this guy is passed just like a forceps and like any sharp. Just like this. Your needle is now facing down, and it should be nowhere near your ear, okay? So again, you'll see the needle is facing down. So as the surgeon receives it, he's ready to start suturing. Circular fashion. So again, your other needle holders were rings, we pass this way. These guys with forceps, you pass this way, okay? So when you guys get a chance and you get up here, pass it to each other this way. If it's in the package still, I want you guys to take this off, okay? And hold it in your hands so that you can pass it. And as soon as you pass it, make sure you give him the string so that this guy doesn't get caught on anything. If this gets caught on your glove, gown, any material, it's gonna pull, it can pop off, and then it's gonna slingshot. Then you guys will be here all night trying to find that one needle.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So if you guys can barely find it here, imagine this
If it's on the
that
floor.
So there's ways to find it. Okay. Hopefully it makes you successful for that. But there's needle magnet retrievers where it's literally a magnet, has little wheels, and each wheel has a magnet. So you'll roll that, check every wheel. Nope. 2 hours later. Here we go.
Do you have like a? Do you guys have like a form of like kind of like a metal detector on the floor to like find little small
Magnet.
pieces?
Because there's metal all over the place, so it'll give you wrong readings. So definitely we have the magnet, right? So, and you'll see, you'll have little chips and pieces of metals that you didn't even know existed on the floor.
So question, so because you're paying attention to the procedure, so as he's getting ready to start suturing, you would do that, go from that straight down, do it, and then as soon as you hand it off, you pull it off, or do you just pull it off and then hold it?
Again,
Like reference.
yeah, it's gonna be really what you decide. Just know that at that point, you either need to hold on to this end. There's times where I have techs do this, they hold on to their cartridge and give this, and then just give a quick little pull, okay? I prefer more the method of hold on to the string, know where your needle's at, and give. Because if it's on there and your doctor pulls, your card might flip too, and there goes the same thing. So definitely, I don't want this to catch anywhere because it will slingshot.
So just hold on to it.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the other end, you don't want to hold the needle itself, but like very
Don't
close.
don't ever hold the needle. The only time you should hold the needle is when you're fixing it for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So definitely if you do this, right, you become a fish, ready to get hooked. Okay. So you don't want to do that. Not a fish.
Oh, we're doing this in the dark, or do we have the?
Yes. So that's what we're gonna practice.
I mean, we're doing it, but we have the headlamp.
No, you don't have a headlamp. The surgeon is the one that uses the headlamp. So you guys are gonna be doing this Thursday. We're practicing this in the dark.
Oh.
Yes. So I'm gonna give you guys some light because the light also can't be right on top of the surgeon's light because he's stuck here, and if there's any light happening over here, it's gonna distract him from the surgery. So your light is probably gonna be very dim on your back table, away from the source of surgery. So you're gonna have a dim light. And you're gonna be over here like, I don't want to do eyes. Okay, but you'll do eyes. It's fine. All right. So again, pass this just like this, and work with it. All right. So when you guys get to this part, be careful, no horsing around. I'm only gonna have 2 people at a time up here when you guys are dealing with this. Okay?
Can you ask your nurse for a light?
Yeah, but if it starts getting your doctor's vision, you're out.
Okay.
You're gonna have an overhead light, but you need to have it at the dimmest setting.
Right.
So they have like your lights, those fancy lights where you could dim them bright. These are dimmable, so you can dim them to a point where there's just enough light on top of your foot.
And when that little light, it'll like reflect off the needle, so you can identify it a little bit easier.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's the next thing too. If you don't if you don't have a needle magnet, a flashlight is usually inside of an eye room, so you can go around flashing. If you see a little sparkle, boom, that's the metal reflecting a little bit of light. So some places don't know that. It's like, hey, let's use a flashlight. What for? No, you're actually flashing it so you can see. Oh, look right there. Sparkle, sparkle.
So for the smaller needles, they tend to have a foam insert instead of the kind of like the
Not
round,
always.
like
It
the
depends
bigger
on the
one.
manufacturer. Again, you'll see this next one is a 10-0. The needle is a little bit bigger, but the suture is a lot smaller. Okay. So this is one of the smallest of them. You guys thought that was small. The needles are larger. Okay, because this is actually vascular. This is for vascular stuff. So you can go ahead and close certain grafts. But the suture size is usually the ones we use for eye surgery. Okay, you guys ready for this? Yeah, you guys can see the needle.
Oh, nice.
It's blue.
That's better.
Yeah.
Manageable.
But does that mean the
Wait till I pick it up though.
Wait, what?
Wait, can I even wait.
You can see the other needle though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is way smaller than a thread of hair.
That's how you do it.
Okay, so again, these needles are a little bit bigger. It's usually because they're putting in a big graft and they're able to go through the graft and then they can tie this simple suture. Okay, so very thin. The tension on this is almost to zero. If you pull it, it might snap. Okay, so a lot of times what they have to do is when holding these sutures, look at that, I just flipped around with a little bit of tug. When dealing with the sutures, you got to be at the most careful with you can. No pulling, no grabbing, no, oh, I'm not ready. If your surgeon's yelling, you still must take your time and take your time, right? Would you guys like it if your server at an expensive restaurant just came, no? You want to make sure to take his time. Even though you're yelling, they're like, no problem, I got you. So you want to do the same. When your surgeon's yelling, you want to be able to find these needles and these sutures and not make the mistake, okay? Because these things can disappear. You guys hand me a Westcott tenotomy scissor? God has been studying. All right, and they call these floaters for a reason.
I didn't know you had it in.
Wait, what?
Did it break?
You guys ready? Tell me where it went.
Somewhere.
Just like that. Magic.
Magic. Thank you. It's not
Oh my
here.
God.
Where
Is it the test? It's not here. It's not here. It's actually check behind your ear.
Like it's on your.
If you guys see, where did I drop it? Here. Where did it go? These things float, guys. These things will literally float like a butterfly,
It's
like a
like
piece of
my
lint in the air. As soon as they're so thin, they don't have that density to drop down right
so
away.
crazy.
Sometimes they'll just float away. So you guys got to be careful. Even when there's needles attached, they will float away. Okay. So definitely make sure if you're not using that needle, anchor it right away. Don't let it sit somewhere. You must anchor it. It's not here, Takata. It's somewhere on the floor. It floated away.
Get the needle.
Yeah, the needles are here though. We have
Yeah.
one,
Oh,
two.
is that it? Oh no, it's a piece of fur.
Lint. I mean lint.
Lint.
So, you guys might find it. If not, good luck. I dropped one earlier. No one ever find it. So there's 2 strands of
If we find one, we get $1.
$1.
$1.
I'm gonna find them. All right, so
Turn on a flashlight.
work with these guys right now in a couple minutes. I want you guys to, again, work with these. There's 10 sutures up here. So before we start, we're gonna count 10 sutures, and before we finish, we're gonna count, 10 needles. And when we're done, we're gonna count 10 needles. Sutures, I don't care. The needles like you. Okay, so these are gonna go away in a second. So please handle these as best as you guys can. Yeah, good luck if you can find it. Okay. So, all right. So by the way, that's a 10-0. We have up to 12. Okay.
For the threads?
So yes. So 10-0 is more than likely what you'll be dealing with. 11 is the smallest size. In surgery, 12 is going to be special order for that hospital for that patient.
What surgery would that be used in?
So nice.
Ice for 12?
Okay, probably pediatric, neonate, something like that. What's that?
Like the thread that you're